First, I want to take a moment to discuss my principal's leadership style. I actually teach it to elementary schools in the Dodge City School District, so this is a really interesting topic to me. The leadership styles and school procedures and such between the schools really is noticeably different, and sometimes it's tricky for me to accept those differences. However, I am glad to be able to say that I truly appreciate both of my principals. One of them is a laissez-faire leader, and the other is a transformational leader. I personally identify more with the laissez-faire leader, but truly appreciate the transformational leader, and she is the principal I met with for this project. There are 4 aspects of transformational leadership, and I can identify all 4 in her leadership. The first is individualized consideration. As a new teacher, she made a real effort to get to know me. She listened to my concerns and has been super supportive. She is always willing to offer suggestions, but also to direct me toward other resources that may be of assistance. She often has a challenge for me as well, or encourages me to try something specific that she believes may help me resolve or improve a situation. The second aspect of transformational leadership is intellectual stimulation. This sort of falls in line with the challenges. First, during meetings, she often asks the teachers how they believe a situation can be resolved or improved. She listens, identifies the common problem or root, and then asks for solutions, and then immediately implements them, knowing that the changes may very likely need to be made, but also that we have to try first. Feedback is then accepted from and by the teachers, and everything is viewed as a learning opportunity. The third aspect of transformational leadership is inspirational motivation. At the very first teacher meeting of the year, our principal asked us each to introduce ourselves and to explain what we loved about teaching at our school. Many teachers made inspirational proclamations, but our principal proceeded to present her very personal and meaningful visions for the school and her passion for being there. Her vision was passionate and very motivating and encouraging. The fourth aspect of transformational leadership is idealized influence. This principal absolutely models the behavior she wants to see. She can be found doing just about any job and instills a strong sense of pride and belonging to the school and community, both for the students and the teachers. On to Kesa. I only met with this principal about Kesa, but I am proud to say that I think our school and our district as a whole is really working to make immediate and noticeable changes, and I don't think it's just because they have to, but because they really want to. They believe in the positive difference these steps will make. Kesa is really new to me as a music teacher. There are some things that I know less about because they do not involve me. However, as I read more about Kesa, I began to realize why my district is doing some of the things it is doing. It sounds like we're in year 2. I think the district as a whole, in all areas, is implementing and transitioning. There are some things that I've noticed addressed by the district that specifically refer to the 5 R's. I just didn't put it together until I started reading about Kesa. So under relationships, the district has been receiving feedback from a survey that went out to parents, teachers, and I believe even any community members to receive feedback about what people feel the district does well and what they could do better. There was even room for public discussion and feedback, which was really interesting to read. And a lot of it did have to do with communication, how the district is doing. For relevance, I noticed that our district opening school year inspirational meetings, that there was a lot of emphasis on students being guided towards career paths specific to their interests. I thought this was really neat. The high school is working hard to help students make real-world connections to their learning, provide opportunities for college credits, and even work towards some certifications. We are also a one-to-one district, so technology is a real strength, and there is an emphasis on making the most of its use. For responsive culture, all the schools have some sort of monthly theme that address topics like respect and responsibility and a variety of other character traits. It's a big deal, and students are learning to be self-aware, and counseling lessons are also emphasizing these traits. And for rigor, I guess I mentioned some of these things in relevance that also go with rigor. At the high school level, there is a strong emphasis on preparing students for their immediate future, whether that be the college, the workforce, vocational, or community college, not just 4-year degrees for everybody. College credit and certifications are available, as well as people to help guide students in discovering what exactly they're interested in doing. And under results, I don't know much about kindergarten readiness, but I do know that the district offers many preschool programs and maybe even some home assessment and assistance for high needs families. In terms of social emotional factors, lots of our professional development sessions are dedicated to trauma sensitivity. We're a trauma sensitive school district, recognizing the needs of our students and addressing them. I do know that there's a big emphasis also on individualized education, and the iPads play a big part in that. As for my specific school, and with regard to the conversation with my principal, the specific goals that were set for our school by a group of teachers and the principal for this year were based around curriculum and instruction and leadership. To collect the data needed to show improvements, our principal is doing 20 walkthroughs a month. Some of the determined goals that she is documenting are that mastery objectives match what is being taught at the time, and usually she quietly asks a student what they are learning to make sure that the student's perception matches the objective. The academic discourse is happening, and to check for discussion-based learning, one thing all teachers have done this year is create seating that facilitates discussion, so there are no rows of desks in any classroom. Another specific goal was communication with parents, and I believe specifically about social emotional factors. She has also mentioned an emphasis on data-driven instruction, so classroom teachers are keeping updated data to facilitate data-driven instruction. One area of improvement that we identified had to do with documentation to help students get the help that they need. I do participate in this, but not nearly to the extent that the classroom teachers do. SIT is the process by which students who need academic or social emotional help begin to attain it, and it requires a lot of documentation. For some reason, and I don't know who has the responsibility for knowing how to document, but for some reason, proper documentation methods are not getting passed along to our teachers and administration. So documentation is being done. Hopes are high that a student will receive the help that they need, and the governing body says that the documentation is not the right kind. It's not thorough enough, etc. So a major area in need of improvement is figuring out how to properly document to get help for students who need it. And I guess last year the school did not have a counselor, as most or maybe all of the schools in the district do, so this principal expects to see some major improvements this year because there is now a full-time counselor. There were many issues not being adequately addressed, and that created an abnormal number of problems this year. So overall, I think this district is on the right track. I love that as a newbie, I can identify noticeable efforts towards improvement without even, being told that that's what they are. I am also happy to be part of a district that works so hard to make a difficult but much needed changes that will hopefully have a major impact on both the students and the community as a whole.